know my rights. I watched American Justice with your host, Bill Curtis. Anyway, it's time to continue my 31 on 31 series of reviews with Joyride. Now, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do for next year. I know I got a whole year, 365 days, before I got to do it, but I want to do another 31 on 31 with film series. And, I didn't really plan it out much because I came up this last minute. It's like right on the spot. So next year, I may do some other... I'm not going to do the, Freddie, Michael, Jason ones. Because that's just... No. That's already been done. Not by me, but they've done it. I want to do something different. I could have done what the top stream people are doing. Evil Dead and all those. And I did do the Evil Dead. And that's the only one of them that I'm doing that's in that set. But, I'm just thinking I could do more. But yeah, so let's, I'm getting close. I got 5 movies, 4 now that I've watched this one. So we got Joyride, starring Paul Walker, Steve Zahn, and Lily Sobieski, whatever. And story is, 2 brothers are on a road trip to pick up a female, and they run into a crazy mother trucker by the name of Rusty Nail, who they messed with using their newly installed CB radio. Turns out to be a psychopath, and then they have to contend with him for the majority of the film. Yeah, right off the bat, not a big fan of Steve Zahn. Not really at all. It's like the only movie that I like him in, because he's serious. I know he's supposed to be a comedian. Even in a film that I like, Saving Silverman, I don't really care for him in it. Jack Black is good, Jason Biggs is alright, but I have to rewatch it. I might like it, but he's good in this. I'll give you that. And Paul Walker, of course, the late Paul Walker, good as always. I don't think he's too bad in much of his films. Maybe She's All That. I think maybe he's a little bit iffy on, but this one was early roles. But this one, pretty good. This came out 2001, right? Yeah, 2001, same year as The Fast and the Furious. So he was busy. And Lily Sobieski, of course, she was in Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen. It's the only other thing I know her from, because I had a crush on her in that movie. She's married now. She has a family. So is Megan Fox. My crush is just Ronda Rousey. I shouldn't have a crush on anyone. They just get married and don't care about me. But anyway, yeah. So like I said, it actually starts with Paul Walker's character Lewis. He decides, because they're going. It's like, I think it's a Thanksgiving holiday. He buys a car, and because he likes this girl so much, this Veta, played by Lily Sobieski, he gonna drive to her. On the way there, he stops at a payphone, because I think cell phones were in early cell phones here. I know they didn't put in movies at this point yet, I don't think, but he goes, he calls his mom at a payphone, and his mom tells him that his older brother Fuller, played by Steve Zahn, got into jail. And it's that scene where he picks up Fuller, that line I did. I know my rights. I watch American Justice, your host Bill Curtis. And on the way then to get Feta, they stop at a gas station where Fuller has them, the gas station man, the gas station attendant, install a CB radio, and that's where the problem comes from. They start pranking this guy named Rusty Nail, and they pretend that Paul Walker is a woman, and they mess with him. And it's all innocent fun at first. Then they get the idea, they get to the hotel, there's this guy there that's a jackass, so they get this idea, they're going to play a prank on both of them. They're going to have Rusty Nail show up at the room, this guy's room, which is next to their room, and And it's gonna be a prank on both. You know, good, clean fun, right? But what they don't know is that Rusty Nail is a freaking psychopath, and he puts the guy in a coma. But Rusty Nail is smart. He's figured out that it was these two behind it, not that guy. Because the guy must have had no idea what was going on. So they decide they're gonna, there's this whole thing. They get rid of the CB radio. They're free and clear. There's this one little incident with the Rusty Nail that they get into, and then he leaves. They think it's this ice truck guy. I gotta mention this ice truck guy because he comes back. This ice truck driver, and it turns out he just, Lewis just left his credit card in there, and he's bringing it to him. But then Rusty Nail shows up. He plows over that guy's truck, and then he confronts them, and he says, "This is a joke. This is a joke." He's like, "Well, I'm joking too," and he leaves. And that's it. They go, they pick up Veta, and they start having a good time. They have some drinks, they mess with some people at a bar, think they're going to have good times, and then Rusty Nail comes back. I thought there wasn't a girl. He's been following them, and he's put their CB radio back in their trunk. You don't get to see this guy's face, but he is voiced by Ted Levine. We'll get to that when I get to the good and the bad stuff. So, yeah. And then, they're harassed. And eventually, he kidnaps Veta. And it leads Fuller and Lewis to another hotel. And they gotta find a hotel. And they can't call the cops or else he's gonna kill her. And the cops get involved anyway at some point. And the cops show up, but they believe it's one of those two that's doing it. But then Fuller's got his leg, metal thing through his leg, and he's up against this fence, and the guy's driving towards him. And they think that's it. The guy's dead or whatever from the impact. But it's actually the ice truck driver and not Rusty Nail. And that scene at the end where he's got Veta strapped up, and if the door's open, gun's gonna shoot. Well, Lewis jumps in, he saves her, they open the door, gun shoots, and then they tell Lewis to put his hands up because they think he's involved in it. But obviously he's not. And then they reveal that Rusty Nail's still alive with the little thing on the radio. I like the rain. Keeps people inside, washes away all the dirt or whatever. Washes everything clean. Yeah. So now I'll explain the film to you. I got some good points, I got some bad points. First of all, Ted Levine, he doesn't play Rusty Nail in all the films, but in this one in particular, he's awesome. He's got that deep voice and that Rusty Nail attitude. He's got that real attitude, You think he's just dumb, bumfuck truck driver, but he's really a kick-ass psychopath that will fuck you up in an instant. And that voice by Ted Levine is what does it. I don't know what the physical appearance is, but Ted Levine does the voice. And it's ironic because Ted Levine was also in The Fast and the Furious with Paul Walker. So that's kind of weird, isn't it? See what else good is about this? The tension in this film. There's, like I said though, there's spots where they're just, he's on a road trip, he's with his brother, they're having fun, they're messing around with Rusty Nail, and then Rusty Nail put that guy next door in a coma, and then it's tension after them, mounting, he's coming after them, and he's rushing them, and they're afraid that he could be anywhere, because they know what it looks like, and then, he's just joking, he backs away, he leaves, then they hit Veta, and it's once again, you think, everything's okay, everything's fine, it's a fun little movie again, and then, I thought there wasn't a girl, and then boom, Rusty Nail's back on him, all the way to the end, tension, I like that, I like how it's just a regular road trip movie, and then tension, darkness, then back to the regular road trip, then tension, it keeps it even, normal, tension, and it's not all tension, they're all just normal with a little bit of stuff put in, no, it's got that little I like that. And like I said, the actors themselves do a great job. Paul Walker, of course. Steve Zahn, even though I don't really care for his acting. Specifically, there was a movie that came out called Strange Wilderness. And it looked pretty good, and I wanted to see it. So, time came. I rented it. Sucked ass. So, yeah, and I like stupid movies, but that movie sucked ass. I don't really want to buy it to do a review on it. Because I'm afraid, like with Batman Returns, I'm going to like it. Because for the longest time, I didn't care for Batman Returns. And then when I did the review, watched it for the review, I'm like, no, it's actually not too bad. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, the acting all around, pretty good. Even from Lily Sobieski, who doesn't do much in this movie besides get captured. It's alright. Let's transition to the bad, and that's this. Okay. The love interest stuff. Now, from the beginning of the movie, you get this. You know that Lewis has a thing for Veta. He buys a car so he could drive down and get her ass, right? To get that ass. You know what I mean? And then Fuller gets in the middle of this. And he comes in, and he's like, oh, you're fucking her? And he, like, gets hit or something or whatever. And it's like, okay. And so he really has a thing for her. But then, after they get Veta, and they go for the drinks, and they get to the hotel, Lewis goes somewhere, or Lewis falls asleep. So, then, Fuller decides, okay, I'm going to go next door to Veta, and we're going to get drunk, and I might be able to get a little bit of that you-know-what. So he gets in there, they're flirting and everything, and that's when Mr. Nail calls and says that there wasn't a girl. What are you talking about? Who's with your brother next door? And he's like, well, he asked why you were in here, and that's a pretty good fucking question. And then it's just dropped for the rest of the movie. There's no more argument between them. There's no more love interest pushed in there. There's not even... because there's a part where it looks like they are together. Because I'm sitting there watching, and he's got an arm around her. They're in the front. She's driving. He's got his arm around her and everything. And they're together and stuff. And then after this... And then Fuller does this shit. And then after that... And, she's captured and everything. And at the end, you think there was some kind of embrace. But there's not. They're just... scared still. There's no conclusion to this love interest story. This whole film was started on the fact that he liked this girl enough to buy a new car, or to buy a car, and drive down to get her. They inserted the brother in, that's okay, they need more than two characters anyway. And they had that little love triangle thing, which I don't think was, didn't think it needed to happen. But it happened. There's no conclusion to that. There's no who's she gonna be with. There's no she runs into his arms and they finally have a kiss to cement this relationship. Nothing. It's just Rustin Nail's still alive and they're scared the shit out of him. Even though they're not in the sequel, spoiler alert. The other two sequels have a completely different set of characters in them. And before the third one came out, I had an idea the third one should be a revisit to this one, where they had the three characters. And I'm like, okay, well, the third one came out in 2013. I'm like, okay, let's still do a fourth one. Paul Walker come back. And then Paul Walker died. And I'm like, well, there goes that. Unless they use that, they would do it and say, oh, and because the character Fuller, or the character of Lewis, could still be alive, right? So they could do that anytime. They make a fourth one, and they go back to these characters, and it starts with them finding a body that's horribly mutilated, and they test the DNA, and it's Lewis. And then Steve Zahn comes in, even though I don't want him to lead a movie. Steve Zahn, I know Lily Sobieski, I think she actually retired from acting, but Steve Zahn is, and he could come in, and they can even recast Veta if they wanted. Or have even a couple new characters in. Or, my idea was to bring in, I'm not going to say how many, but the survivors from the second film, the survivors from the third film, to work with Fuller and Veta and Lewis, or maybe just now Fuller, And that would work, because to have those characters, you know, with Fuller, and be more of a, you know, a full casting. And they wouldn't have to cast many new characters, unless they cast other victims that he's been in with or something, or a victim that he has. There was one point where Rustin Nail kidnaps Vetta's roommate in this, which I thought that was out of left field. I'm like, what does she even have to do with anything other than when she was there when they picked Vetta up? She's not involved in this in any way, shape, or form. Neither is Vetta. But she gets kidnapped and Vetta gets taken. They're getting punished for something these two did. That's another negative right away. Is that the roommate gets kidnapped. Vetta gets kidnapped for something they did. Maybe that's the reason why she's not with them at the end. Now that I think about it. But yeah, that's just my... But guys, that's just my thoughts. Yeah, guys, this is a good movie. Check it out if you must. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for me. I'm going to continue on with the other two. If I remember correctly, 2 is alright. But 3 is... But we'll get to them. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on Joyride? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, love, peace, and chicken grease.